So last week, I did a video where I said this. In fact, it goes further than that, to be honest. Like, I know this sounds bad, but I would honestly be really happy if EA and Activision went out of business. Like, I honestly would. I would love to see BioWare go independent again. Imagine if Bungie went independent and sought to remake itself in the image of CD Projekt Red. Now, when I said that, it was the ultimate pie in the sky, impossible thinking. I was like, there's no way in hell this is ever going to happen. I'm just rattling off bullshit. I'm imagining just impossible scenarios. So you can imagine my surprise this morning when I woke to learn that exactly that has happened, that Bungie is now becoming an independent studio and that Activision and Bungie are going their separate ways. For anyone that doesn't know the detail, Activision and Bungie worked together for about the last 7-8 years, as you know, Activision had agreed to publish Destiny. That was the franchise that they had a 10-year agreement for, hundreds of millions of dollars invested. It was a really big deal, but it was a very fraught relationship between the two of them. And Jason Schreier has reported over the years how much friction has existed with that relationship. Today, they announced that Activision's walking away, that Bungie will retain the rights to Destiny. So they hold it, and then Activision just sail off into the sunset. This is fundamentally different than what we saw with Bungie and Microsoft, where Microsoft kept the Halo franchise, and then Bungie had to create Destiny, their own brand new thing. Okay, so that's what's happening. I just want to say how unbelievably over the moon I am about this news. Like, I'm utterly elated that this has happened. Okay, and there's a few reasons for it. Number one, Bungie is one of my favorite studios. Ever since they started up as a studio, I've been playing their games. They are unquestionably one of my favorite developers ever. They have contributed hugely to the person that I am today in terms of like having this passion for video games. Halo 2 ranks among my best life experiences, not just like games, but life experiences. And I'm sure it is for many of you as well. Like, Halo 2 fucking changed everything. The entire Halo franchise was absolutely phenomenal. And even Destiny 1 meant a great deal to me because it was kind of average at the start, but I could immediately see its potential. And as Bungie worked on that game over time, they realized that potential, and it was a magnificent game by the end. Activision are a garbage company. And I want to be super clear about this, okay? Activision aren't okay, like they are garbage company, okay? And you only need to look at what they've done to their franchises to see that. Their entire business model is built around running stuff into the ground. Like Guitar Hero, for example, which was a brilliant series for a long time, but they spanked it so mercilessly that it just completely died. And when they tried to bring it back recently with Guitar Hero Live, it was such a bastardized, monetized, greedy product that you literally couldn't even play a specific song that you wanted to play unless you either earned credit to do so or you paid them, okay? So the perfect example of how Activision's greed just completely ruins a franchise. Tony Hawk 5, holy fuck, don't even get me started on that. And just what an utter train wreck that Tony Hawk himself made fun of how bad Tony Hawk 5 was. But Activision just didn't care. Skylanders also completely ran into the ground. Call of Duty, you're talking about an annualized franchise that is constantly finding new ways to fleece people, where even just recently, last week, they added red dot reticles that you have to pay for. It's just a fucking dot on screen and you have to pay for that, you know? I think companies like Activision and EA have an extremely corrosive influence on video games because if they succeed, they inspire other companies to try the same shit. And I take great delight in seeing where they don't succeed because I much rather the likes of CD Projekt Red and Obsidian and, you know, Sony with its God of War and its fucking, you know, like Spider-Man, all that. I want that shit to succeed because it's not ripping players off. I don't want Activision and EA to succeed. Seeing now Destiny free of the talons of Activision just gives me so much hope for the future of this franchise because, you know, Destiny 2 was such a train wreck. Like, it was just such a bad release because it was forced out before it was ready and it was over-casualized and it was over-monetized. It was just a shit product. It was a shitty game. And I've said so for a long-ass time. And, you know, then what happened was Bungie said, okay, cool, that didn't work. Let's try something different. And we got Forsaken, which definitely has its problems, don't get me wrong. And I'm working on a large-scale endgame review for that, you know, specific discussion. But it was for hardcore players that really loved the franchise. It wasn't trying to appeal to absolutely everybody. It staked its claim. And it was less monetized. If anyone knows how the Eververse works today, they'll know that it's not this massive ripoff that it used to be. And the game isn't fucking built around Eververse. it's quite an auxiliary part of the experience, and you can absolutely get lots of that stuff for free anyway, you know? So it was disappointing to see Activision recently say that they were disappointed with the performance of Destiny 2. And it was very encouraging to see, you know, Luke Smith fire back, the creative director of Destiny, fire back and say, well, we're actually really satisfied with it over here at Bungie. We love it. We think it's great. I was very glad to see Luke and Bungie standing up for themselves against Activision, just because Destiny didn't make all the fucking money in the world. You know, it's still a great, successful, profitable product, but because it didn't make like all the money in the universe, Activision can never be satisfied with that. So to see now Bungie taking this step away and being able to have their own franchise and just do with it what they please, your mind really does wander with regards to where the possibilities could go, you know, like, and I think it's important not to jump to too many conclusions at this point. We can't assume that Bungie are now going to be the next CD Projekt Red. We can't assume that they're just going to, you know, go the whole consumer-centric model and we'll hold them up as an example. But we can be hopeful that that will be the case. And they are now the largest independent studio in the world, or amongst that. I think it's CD Projekt Red and them now, Bungie, are the two largest independent studios in the world. How inspiring it would be to see Bungie sort of following that tradition, you know, and just put customers first and sell us a good game for a good price and not milk us after that, you know. It just, I really hope that happens. And I really am glad that Bungie are free of this whole annualized schedule that Activision rams down all of their developers' throats, you know. Like, I hope that Bungie will take the time to make the game and release it when it's ready, you know. And maybe we won't even see a Destiny 3. Maybe we'll see, you know, like, just continue to build on Destiny 2, which is what I would have liked to have seen for Destiny 1. Just build on that world rather than toss everything aside, you know. But either way, I'm so happy. Like, I'm just so fucking happy that this has happened. And it really does give me so much optimism for where this could go and what Bungie could become and what Destiny could become and all of the other stuff. And yes, I know they've taken $100 million from NetEase, a Chinese internet company. We don't know what that's for. We don't know how that works yet. As I said, we shouldn't be popping champagne bottles at this point. But we can be happy for a day. And I said, we can be hopeful for what this could mean for the future. And I think that any time that Activision gets its talons off something, that's a good thing, you know. And I really look forward to seeing how Bungie make the most of this next step, you know. So congratulations to Bungie. They were cheering, by the way, when they were told in the town hall meeting. Jason Schreier reported that they were literally cheering. So, you know, obviously they're happy. I'm super happy. I know everybody else I've spoken to is happy and optimistic. It's a reset button opportunity for Bungie and its community and gamers generally, and I just really hope they seize on it. Like, go and talk to Digital Extremes and go and talk to Grinding Gear Games and like go and just do what they do, but with Destiny and with other IP that you create. And if that happens, my fucking God in heaven, we're all going to be like, I couldn't imagine anything better. Anyway, that's my view. Congrats, Bungie, and best of luck.